Greetings. My name is William Swanson with the Peachtree City Fire and Rescue, and I'm the lead fire investigator that was on call and responded to the fire that was located at 614 May Street. When I was summoned to the scene by the incident commander, I was informed that crews had made forcible entry to the home by means of the door on the northeast corner on the ground floor. The building had been entered and the fire had been controlled and extinguished by fire personnel. They found that the main concentration of fire was located in the living room behind the television, and that there was also some sort of an electrical box that was mounted behind it as well. I was also informed that no one was home at the time of the fire, but the residents returned home from a trip to the store during their fire suppression efforts. At which point in time, the residents advised the crews that no one was in the home, so the search had been ceased at that point in time. After the fire had been extinguished and fire personnel were preparing to return their apparatus ready for service, another fire call was dispatched out 3 blocks away with confirmed children trapped inside. Due to the extenuating circumstances and the close proximity, the lieutenant that was on scene and the crews made the decision to abandon that scene and respond to the call. Upon my arrival, there was no one on scene. I began documenting the scene by photographing the exterior first and then the interior as I made entry into the house. The largest amount of fire damage was noted in the living room behind the TV, and the electrical box that was reportedly found melted was still there. I collected the box for evidence, and as I was collecting the box for evidence, I noticed a pour pattern that ran from behind the TV towards the kitchen. A pour pattern is similar to this. This is a picture of the pour pattern that I located. You can tell that an accelerant was used by the pattern and the splash where the dark charring was. As evidence of an accelerant used for this fire. I collected samples from the pattern, and I also notified law enforcement at this time of my intent to charge the homeowners with arson. While I was finishing my documentation, the residents and their attorney arrived on the scene. The attorney stated that I had made entry to the home without permission and that all evidence must be suppressed due to chain of custody. The attorney also stated that the evidence collected was in violation of the homeowner's constitutional rights, including the Fourth Amendment right against warrantless searches and seizures. Admittedly, due to extenuating circumstances, Peachtree City Fire and Rescue's policy regarding chain of custody was not followed. However, I would urge the court to consider allowing the evidence to be admissible, and I'm going to refer to the case of the state of Idaho versus Butterball. It was in this case that it was determined that firefighters had entered the house under exigent circumstances to extinguish a fire. Furthermore, the court also refused to suppress evidence on the basis that it did not violate the homeowner's Fourth Amendment. The case of State versus Butterball was very similar to the case that we're dealing with now, as far as the fire investigator leaving and returning to the scene, or the crews leaving and the fire investigator showing up at a later time. It was deemed that does not violate a homeowner's Fourth Amendment right, because the court states that firefighters are allowed to make warrantless entry to extinguish the fire, and also that re-entry may be made to investigate the cause of the fire, so long as it's done in a timely manner, which this case it was done in a timely manner. This is when I was determining the origin of the fire, and I would say that this would be also allowed under the plain view doctrine, since I found the other evidence while determining the origin of the fire. Thank you for your consideration.